Brief account of Robert Browning's life and works. Robert Browning was born at Cornwall on May 7, 1812. He was the son of a clerk in the Bank of England. His mother was a divine woman of mixed German and Scotch descent, from whom he inherited his musical and artistic tastes. The childhood of the poet was remarkable for its precocity. Precocity means maturity. He did not attend any regular school but mostly continued his education at home and picked up the rudiments of painting and Greek poetry. Rudiments means painting. He became proficient in many physical accomplishments and could ride, fence, box, and dance. Destined for the medical profession, he entered Guy's Hospital, but this was not his vocation. He left it soon and finally decided on following his long-cherished idea of becoming a poet. He wrote a small volume of verse when he was 12 years of age, but failing to find a publisher, he threw it in the fire in disgust. The first literary influence on Browning was Byron. His effect was not very lasting. From Byron, he turned to Shelley, whose Queen Mab has a profound effect on his literary genius. Keats also had his share in his poetic output and in Pauline. The effect of this poet is clearly perceptible. After publishing Pauline, returned when he was 20 years of age, Browning went to Russia. In Russia, he met a French who formed the subject of his next poem, Paracelsus. Shortly after the publication, his parents moved from Camberwell to Ashman, and the young poet made many new friends, including John Foster, whom he afterwards assisted to complete his Life of Stratford. Robert Browning also visited Italy in 1838, and the spell of Venice then felt remained within him throughout his life. On his return from Italy, he read the poems of Elizabeth Barrett with interest, and gradually a friendship developed between them, which took the form of love. The father of Elizabeth refused permission of marriage, and the young lovers decided to marry without their parents' consent. On September 12, 1846, they were quickly married at Marylebone Church. After this marriage, they started at once for Italy, where they lived for many years with happiness, and with Italian sunshine came renewed health, for Elizabeth was invalid at the time of marriage. Joy at the birth of his son in 1849 was saddened by the news of the sudden death of his mother, and the poet returned to England. During his stay in England, Browning published much of his poetry, but few people appreciated his works. Mrs. Browning, whose health began to fail in 1816, died in the following year. Browning returned to London with his distress. Browning took deep interest in the education of his son. He wrote much, and gradually his published books brought fame to him. With increasing reputation as a poet, the straight, kindly face became ubiquitous in London society. Tennyson once remarked, "Browning will die with a white tie." Since the death of his wife, Browning had not seen Italy. Now that his son had married and settled there as an artist, he made the first of a series of annual visits, and with them the old charm of Venice returned. Once he went to pay a visit to his son in November, he caught cold and developed bronchitis. The aged poet passed away as the clock of San Marco was striking 10 on December 12, the day of the publication of Orlando in 1889. He was buried in the Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey.